I am driving and I didn't get to do a video this weekend because I got a puppy dog whom is sitting next to me, but he's sleeping. So that's no fun to videotape. Anyways, I am here to talk about vulnerability and just vulnerability in a lot of situations, such as relationships and health and fitness and your career and your intelligence, just everything in life. I think it's good to be vulnerable because if you allow yourself to kind of break down your walls that you've just allowed yourself to build over the years, you allow yourself to grow. And in that, you find your strengths because I'm sure you'll hit some weaknesses along the way, but in those weaknesses, you find out, okay, I'm strong enough to endure this situation and go through it and come out on top, or I'm not strong enough to handle this situation and either I need to ask for help or continue practicing this task or going through the situation until I can conquer it. And sometimes I think as a human race or a human population, that's something we struggle at because we are afraid of making mistakes, we're afraid of failure. But what we need to realize is failure is never the ending point. It's always the beginning to a new chapter in your life. And through failure at least in my experience, through failure, I've learned the most about myself. And I've also been handed more opportunities, not handed, but I guess gained more opportunities by putting myself out there, maybe not being the best at it, but at least I tried, and just the effort in general sparked me to want to try harder, to learn more, and I think that is truly inspiring because the more you put yourself out there, the more you realize you are capable of doing good at something or being good at something. And kind of just like break it into the categories as far as like a relationship goes. If you go through things that aren't so positive, maybe you went through a horrible relationship, or maybe you've been a nasty person in the past and so you just struggle with coping mechanisms or just figuring out how to move forward in life. And I think by allowing yourself to be vulnerable, you're breaking down those walls, but you're also learning how to love correctly. You're putting yourself out there to find the right person to fall in love with and to be able to love. And you're learning that you can change the way that you are because nothing ever is set. I mean, obviously we're always evolving, like in every aspect of life, technology, our mindsets, whether we're putting the time in or not, we're always changing because if you're putting the time in, you're growing. If you're not putting the time in, you're holding yourself back, and eventually that's going to find a point in time where you're either going to try and change it to move forward, or you're going to have to change your path in general to figure out how to change that mindset. And then in health and fitness, by becoming vulnerable and just trying new things, you're teaching your body how to adapt in a new way. So if you ever hit a stagnant point in fitness or wellness, it's easy to kind of be hard on yourself and be like, I'm not doing good anymore. Like, what's going on? I've had a plateau. It makes you kind of want to give up, but you have to realize you have to break yourself down, become vulnerable to the point that you're willing to try new types of workouts. So switch it up, basically. If you're always doing the same exercise, obviously your body's going to become resistant to that because it's like, well, I've already done this many times. This is easy peasy. But if you become vulnerable in the realm of fitness, you kind of realize that you're in control of this. You are always in control because it's up to you to want to make this change. It's up to you to it's a mind game, basically, just like anything else in life. It's seriously a mind game of, okay, I want this, I'm going to set this goal, I plan to do this. I keep saying this because everyone's different, we all have different goals, we all have different plans. So just by becoming vulnerable, you're allowing yourself to grow in a different way. And then in your career, I guess I'm going to kind of combine career and intelligence in general, because I've always found it fascinating to think of the term intelligence, because I don't feel like there's one way to be considered intelligent. I think we are all capable of being intelligent at something, even the person that is considered the dumbest person in the room. I mean, I'm horrible at math. If you ask me to do something in my head as far as math, you're going to look at me and laugh, because I'm sure the answer is going to be wrong. But if you ask me about, like, nonverbal cues or anything related to psychology or empathy or how to be there for a person or how to give good advice, anything in regards to kind of just, I guess, being a better person or self-growth in general, like, I'm sure there's things that I would say that you're like, I didn't even know that. Just like if I was to ask you, a person smart at math, a math question, you'd ramble all these things off, and I'm like, oh my god, you're a genius, you're so intelligent. So I think intelligence in general, I think, can kind of be overwhelming to different people that maybe are lacking confidence in a specific area. And so that's why I'm relating vulnerability to that, is because if you're in your career, I just said it's because, I'm sorry. Anyways, so in your career, perhaps, like right now, I'm still considered a newbie at physical therapy because I just graduated in May, just became licensed in the summer. So, I mean, I've only been at my first job for 5 months, so I'm still learning. And each day I feel like I learn something new. So I'm building intelligence, and by becoming vulnerable in that situation, I'm allowing myself to not judge myself, because I know that I don't know everything, nor will I ever know everything. But I'm putting myself out there to ask questions, to kind of be open to making mistakes and embarrassing myself because perhaps I say the wrong thing, or I document the wrong thing, or say it the wrong way. Because clearly we all make mistakes. You're not always going to have the right answer. You're not going to always do everything the right way. Because if we always do it the right way, then we're clearly not growing. We're clearly not learning. And there's no point of us. I mean, we're actually boring. We're at the wrong place if we know everything. And then that's when stagnance happens. That's when more mistakes start to occur, and it's more so a lesson that has never been learned, rather than a growing point. I don't know if that makes sense. So basically, like, failure is not a bad thing, but if you continue to make the same mistake and you don't learn from it, but you're content, you're comfortable, you're okay with being there, then obviously you're not growing, and obviously that's a lack of intelligence, because you're not trying to move forward, you're just comfortable with where you're at. But if you're making mistakes and still learning, then that's totally cool. And so I know that obviously from the start of this video to now, I'm just all over the place, and I tried to, like, jot down ideas as far as what I would talk about and how I would do it, but I'm just like, I feel like I do better when I just go at it and just kind of talk with thoughts that are coming off my mind in general. So that's basically all I have for today. I guess I could also talk about being vulnerable as becoming a new mom, per se. I'm a new dog mom, and it's kind of scary, like, going into it. It's like having a kid. You have no idea what to expect, what to anticipate. So of course I went psycho and researched everything, and I'm being so ridiculous about, like, oh, I have to do this at this time, oh, I have to do this at that time. And sometimes you just have to stop and be like, okay, just be vulnerable, realize that this is not going to be perfect, it's not going to go out as you planned it to go, but as long as you nurture the situation, you learn from the mistakes that you're making, you put yourself out there, and only positivity can come from that, because you're actively pursuing that situation, you're actively putting confidence in a situation that perhaps you were once lacking confidence in. So never second guess yourself and tell yourself that you can't do something, because anything is possible, obviously. and we obviously have every resource we can think of out there. So the only way that you can't do something is if you don't try, if you aren't putting the effort in, and if you continue to be negative toward yourself and feed yourself the BS in your mind of, oh, I can't do this, oh, I suck at this, oh, whatever. You just constantly have to affirm that you are good at this, that you have the potential to grow at this, that you deserve to be in this situation, because if not, it would have never happened to you. And yeah, so just be positive through the journey, enjoy it. It's not going to be smooth sailing in any situation, whether it's relationship related or work related or being a dog mom or a mom in general, health and fitness. It's all a learning curve. We're going to go up just to come back down, because that's the whole point in life. If you are constantly on your high of I'm succeeding, I'm fulfilled, I'm this great human being, then you're never going to grow further than that, because you don't know what it's like to be hurt, or you don't know what it's like to fail, or you don't know what it's like to be broke, or whatever it might be. So you have to have those lows with those highs to kind of balance yourself out. So just remember that if you're going through hell, keep going. Just keep on pumping, keep on pedaling, you know, keep it going, and all will be good. I hope that everyone continues to make mistakes and works towards a fulfilled life.